Pavlina Sirin, a compassionate death harbinger and magical history teacher, strives to protect the people she loves from a secret sect of corrupt gods. She doesn't have to do it alone, though. Finn McCool, an immortal Irish warrior and magical applications teacher, stands by her side as her ally and her new boyfriend. Together, they mentor Bree, a high school student and the chosen one of the century. After surviving a god's nefarious plot, Bree must learn to live in a non-magical reality and adjust to a family with the doppelgangers of her dead parents. Each weekday, Bree portals to her magical high school, which is shielded from the vengeful gods who want her dead. Still, the villains are relentless in their pursuit, and employ every means to lure her out. Now it's not just the trio's lives at stake, but countless other innocents. Hello everyone, and welcome once again to the Heir's Lair. I'm your host, Jonathan Taylor. Today's video sees me review the sequel to a book I touched upon at the beginning of this month, and also simultaneously the second book in the Secret of Pantheons series, which I will move you around just a little so you can see it. Hold on a bit. Portals and Pantheons by A.R.K. Horton. And now back to me. Just to settle you. Yeah, okay. In my previous review, I mentioned that I referred to this series as a duology. However, after having gone through its constituent elements, or its so far published constituent elements to be more precise, it is quite clear that there is more down the pipeline. The ambitions of this author go a little bit beyond what is, what has already been released. But before I speculate too deeply into the future, I think it is worth talking about this book and what exactly makes it noteworthy, makes it distinctive. The TLDW of this review is that I have to say that occasionally I find this book to be a little frustrating. While it does go to into some detail as to the machinations of this interesting world that is woven between its pages, the narrative focus that this book adopts always seems to be a little bit off center. And that doesn't really allow it to focus. That doesn't really allow it to effectively balance the world building, the the storytelling, and the characterization. Nevertheless, the fact that this is my main complaint, the fact that the elements presented within it aren't presented elegantly, still ought to show that I find what is actually within this book to be interesting enough to where I really want to delve more into it and learn more about the workings of this series. So if non-masquerade urban fantasy is of interest to you, I can pretty much guarantee that, or maybe not guarantee, but I can quite confidently say that you will very much like this book. And now that I'm done with some general aspects, it's time I delved a little bit into the specifics. The plot of the book picks up a few months after the ending of the previous book in the series, and follows the same three lead characters, who are Bree Castile, Pavlina Sirin, and Finn McCool. Bree, as you've been able to glean from the synopsis, is this century's chosen one, which is an official title, by the way, and because of that, she is targeted by some very powerful, very nefarious individuals within the setting. In spite of that, she still does her best to go to high school and have a normal-ish adolescence. In her endeavors, she is aided by two of her teachers and her mentors, Pavlina Sirin and Finn McCool, who, aside from doing their best to support and guide her, also juggle various other responsibilities. While they eventually find a balance that works for them, the the main thread of this book reemerges, which goes on to which goes on to set off a wave of consequences that that pretty much none of them were expecting, and the complications that result from that end up in many ways changing the structure of the world as all of them have known it to a sizable degree. If that sounds like it's like it's a little bit of a mess, well, that's because it is, but in a good way. When it comes to the presentation of this book, I have to say it has a very kinetic, very dynamic pace, pulling the reader through the various events of the book in a quick, frantic manner. Always asking of them to continue to be invested, and always knowing how to reward that investment with with new reveals and new new twists to the events presented, and to the presentation of the world as a whole, and of the characters in particular. This manner of presentation ends up making the story come across as more dynamic. The events becoming more lively, more involving. The characters and the lead characters are almost always on the back foot, even when they take the initiative, and the reader very much becomes sucked into the narrative, or should I say, plugged into the narrative. Rewarded for their investment with more with more reveals and more and a deeper understanding of what exactly is at play within the setting, creating the book thereby creates a very very dynamic, very refreshing reading experience. Unfortunately, it doesn't always have all the building blocks to really fuel that experience. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean that there are I will praise the world building for going a little bit deeper into into the mechanisms of power, or more precisely within the within the administrative power of this world, and how exactly the that power influences the rest of the setting. I can't help but shake the impression that there are certain things that the author is still keeping away from the audience, and I don't really find any particular advantage in keeping certain pieces of information away from the audience, because or at least when it comes to the aspects of this book that are not revealed, I don't necessarily see a benefit towards them not being revealed. Thankfully, however, these gaps within world building are very effectively, are maybe not very, but quite effectively compensated by by the author's character work. The presentation of this book it works in somewhat of a scattered manner, as chapters are told intermittently from the perspectives of each of the leading characters. So therefore, which means that the events or setting are described from the changes in events or setting are described from 3 different perspectives, staggered, and each of these perspectives manages to reveal something new about the about the actual workings of the the places and situations within which they find themselves, thereby avoiding repetition, but also but also deepening the variety of perspectives that the story employs in a meaningful manner, as the connections that the various characters have to towards their setting are are explored in a nuanced manner, and it is through those explorations that the audience gets to understand these characters in terms of their partly their relationships, but more so their worldviews, their insights, their drives, their initiatives, etc., etc. And it is all done in a very intuitive manner, easy to easy to follow up on, but nevertheless revealing some complex and engaging aspects of the world, thereby making all of the characters come across as more lively, more dynamic, and also more relatable, allowing the audience a better, deeper level of insight and connection towards towards these people. Overall, if one were to consider the first book in this series to be the to be the head of the series, one where the audience gets to have a glimpse within the concepts and ideas that drive the world, or around which this world is built upon. This book very much functions as its neck and shoulders, showcasing how it is that these concepts are carried through, and how they are connected with the bulk of the world. And I very much look forward to future books that will go perhaps a little bit more deeply into the actual body, the core, and the broader mechanisms that this setting is more or less built upon. My final rating for Portals and Pantheons is a 4 out of 5. And yeah, that was my review. Thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed it, well then please like the video, maybe even share it wherever you think other people will also like the video. If there is anything you'd like to add, either to the book itself or to my review of it, that's what the comment section is for. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe, and ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. My books, the first of my own Heir to the Empire series, The Next Generation and The Path Not Taken, are available at various book retailers under their respective master links in the description down below. Right past my social media links, which I also suggest to check out should you choose to. Additionally, you can check out my second channel, where I talk about whatever it is that comes to my mind, though typically it's still related to narrative presentations, but outside of the printed word medium. If you want to hear more about my thoughts on the printed word medium, then I suggest you stay on this channel and go through my extensive backlog of book reviews, writing advice, and lore videos, or miscellaneous others. If none of those interest you, then I suggest you go ahead and do whatever you want with the rest of your day, because it is your day after all. And yeah, that was all I had to say. Until next time, I am Jonathan Taylor, and this has been the Heir's Lair.